Welcome back. The streets of Chinatown await an edition of Unsung Heroes cast in bronze. Chronicles' Anthony Everett brings us the story of an artist who believes it's time for workers to be immortalized.
George Washington, Paul Revere, The Embrace, just a few of Boston's iconic statues set in bronze celebrating heroes in battle, sports, and literature. But for artist Wen Ti-tsen, when considering who is honored in our public spaces, there is something missing.
Workers is almost never celebrated in our society. Politicians and soldiers are. And I would like very much to celebrate all these different kind of work that build a society.
For Tsen, that celebration will come in the form of 4 bronze statues representing laborers in 4 fields. Though not glamorous, they were crucial to early Chinese immigrants trying to provide a better life for their families.
One is the laundryman, one is the cook, and one is the garment worker, and one is the grandmother, which sometimes people don't think as a worker. But because they spend so much time actually taking care of the children, they're unpaid, but they're workers.
Is this the original?
This is my imitation workspace.
For this project, Tsen has exchanged the privacy of his studio for this very public gallery space at Pow Art Center in Boston's Chinatown. This is where he will convert his renderings and scale models to full-size statues with every detail meticulously considered.
I want him to have a certain kind of dignity inside him, and eventually the eyes will not be like blot out, but be looking at you in an equal way.
Once complete, with the support of the city of Boston, these statues will be placed throughout Chinatown. It's important for these to be at street level.
I don't want to elevate them as though someone to be worshipped or anything like that. When people walking by, I want them to relate to them as a real people.
6 years ago, Tsen started thinking about the future, not in terms of decades, but a more manageable 2,000-day increment.
I mean, if you're $2,000 in the bank, you know it's not very much, and every single dollar is very worthwhile. So every day becomes very worthwhile.
Now, at age 87 and potentially years away from completing his latest series, he's looking to reset that clock.
Now I really need that 2,000 days to finish them.
And joining us now is Cynthia Wu. She's director of the Pow Art Center. The Pow Art Center is a partnership between Bunker Hill Community College and Boston Chinatown Neighborhood Center. So Cynthia, hi. How did this start and what is the center's mission?
Hi, thanks for having me. Pow Art Center started about almost 7 years ago now. And as you mentioned, it's a partnership between BCNC and Bunker Hill Community College. And really its mission is to celebrate and amplify all the narratives and stories of the Asian American Pacific Islander community here in the Boston area. And what makes it really special, I think, it's that, we really believe that investing in arts and culture and creativity are really vital to the health and well-being of the individuals and families in this community, but also the community as a whole. And it's just a really innovative way of looking at how we can respond to community needs, conversations about identity, but through a very creative approach.
What has it been like to have visitors to the center watch the creation of the Chinese worker statues?
Yeah, I mean, what's great about these statues is that they really speak to people of all generations and all age groups. And, we have senior citizens who come and can really relate to the stories or, tell us stories about their families' history and work in Chinatown, and young people who are very curious about this history and maybe don't even know very much about it. And through this process, when he has been here 3 days a week working on the statues, and people just come in all the time and, just engage. How often can you engage the artists
just get involved in the space. Just get involved in the space and react to it. Food is an important part of everybody's culture. Lunchbox Moments is a current exhibition about the significance of food to Asian young people. Not always a positive association. What's this exhibition about?
Yeah, at the same time, with Wen Ti Sculptures, we have this other exhibition by Amy Bance called Lunchbox Moments. And really, Amy did a whole bunch of workshops with individuals in the community about moments where they didn't feel like they belonged, whether in the lunchroom or in other spaces. And then she took the phrases from these individual community member stories and made this exhibition of the lunch boxes. And the full stories are presented side by side with the phrases on the lunchbox themselves. And they're colorful and they're warm and they're nostalgic. But when you read deeper into them, there's a lot of stories of hope, but also of, feeling othered or feeling like they don't belong.
Now you have a few things happening. You have a few things happening this month, including this exhibit for Lunar New Year, including a community celebration on February 18th. What's going to be happening at this event?
Yeah, on February 18th, we're going to celebrate Lunar New Year, and we're going to have a wide range of activities from Korean dasik cookie making to Chinese lion dance and kind of everything in between. And it's just really a community celebration where you can come in and learn about different Lunar New Year traditions from across the Asian diaspora, not just the Chinese, how Chinese celebrate Lunar New Year. So it's a little bit of everything.
It looks like it's going to be just fabulous. Cynthia Wu, Director of the Powell Art Center, thank you so much for joining us. The Powell Center's Lunar New Year celebration is happening on Sunday, February 18th from 11 to 3. And you can celebrate the Year of the Dragon with art making, dance performances, and it's your last chance to see the Lunchbox Moments exhibit. And the MFA is hosting a Lunar New Year celebration on Thursday, February 15th from 5 to 10 p.m. with a full lineup of events and activities. You can find information on all of these activities and more on the CityLine webpage.